Dear students, welcome to the next lecture of colloidal chemistry. In the previous lectures, we have discussed about the properties of salts. The particles of a salt carry similar electrical charges, and the repulsion between these charges hold the particles apart. This prevents the coagulation of colloidal particles. Also, we have discussed about Brownian motion, which is also responsible for the stability of salts to some extent, because the Brownian motion is against the force of gravity. In the case of lyophilic salts, due to greater affinity between the dispersed phase and the dispersion medium, a heavy sheath of solvation of the dispersion medium surrounds the particles of dispersed phase. Due to this extensive solvation, lyophilic salts are much more stable compared to that of lyophobic salts. Now we will discuss about the coagulation of salts. And what is coagulation of a salt? The precipitation of the dispersed phase of a colloidal mixture through induced aggregation of its particles is known as coagulation or flocculation. This can be done by several methods: persistent electrophoresis, persistent dialysis, addition of oppositely charged salt, or addition of electrolytes. In all these processes, we are disturbing the colloidal mixture and thus enhances the coagulation of the particles. First one is persistent electrophoresis. In the last lecture, we have discussed that as the colloidal particles carry charge, under the influence of an electric field, they have a tendency to move towards the oppositely charged electron. If the electrophoresis is permitted to proceed until the salt particles reach the oppositely charged electrode, at the electrode they will give up their charges and aggregate, which results in the coagulation of the salt. Hence, under the influence of an electric field, the positively charged colloidal particles will get deposited at the negative electrode, and the negatively charged particles will get deposited at the positive electrode. Next is persistent dialysis. We have discussed about dialysis, which is used for the purification of salts and to remove unwanted electrolytes from the freshly prepared salt. If we continue dialysis for a very long time, the electrolytes which are adsorbed on the surface of the salt particles will pass through the dialysing membrane, and thus the particles lose their charges. And as a result, the salt will get coagulated or precipitated. For example, if we consider the positively charged ferric hydroxide salt, the adsorbed Fe3 plus ions can pass through the dialysing membrane if the dialysis is continued for a long time, and this causes the aggregation of the salt particles. And the next method is addition of oppositely charged colloids or electrolytes. To a negatively charged colloid, if we add a suitable proportion of positively charged colloid, the charges will cancel each other and precipitation of the salt occurs. Similarly, if we add electrolytes to the colloidal system, the salt particles can take up the oppositely charged ions from the electrolyte and the charge gets neutralized. This causes the precipitation of the salt particles. For example, if we add barium chloride to the negative salt of arsenous sulfide, the salt particles take up barium 2 plus cations and gets neutralized. This can cause the precipitation of arsenous sulfide salt. Hardy and Schultz studied the relationship between the valency of the ions of the electrolyte added and the coagulation power. And according to their rule, greater the valency of the oppositely charged ion of the electrolyte being added, greater is its coagulating power. If we consider cations such as sodium, barium and aluminium, which are used to cause the coagulation of negatively charged salt like arsenous sulfide, the power of coagulation follows the order Na plus less than Ba2 plus, which is less than that of Al3 plus. If we consider anions such as Cl minus, SO4 2 minus and PO4 3 minus, which can coagulate positively charged colloid like ferric hydroxide, the coagulating power follows the order Cl minus less than SO4 2 minus, which is less than that of PO4 3 minus. Thus, as the charge of the ions of the electrolyte increases, the coagulating power increases. This is Hardy-Schultz rule. The term flocculation value of an electrolyte is the minimum concentration of it required to cause coagulation or flocculation. Flocculation value is expressed in terms of millimoles of the electrolyte per liter of the salt. That means how many millimoles of the electrolyte are required to cause the coagulation of 1 liter of salt. That value is called the flocculation value of the corresponding electrolyte. The flocculation values of sodium chloride, barium chloride and aluminium chloride for a negatively charged salt arsenous sulfide are 52, 0.69, 0.093 respectively. From these values, it is understood that much amount of sodium chloride is required to cause the coagulation of 1 liter of arsenous sulfide salt. That means out of these 3 electrolytes, the coagulating power of NaCl is the lowest and that of AlCl3 is the highest. We know that lyophobic salts are less stable and lyophilic salts are more stable. If we add lyophilic salt to a lyophobic salt, the stability of the lyophobic salt increases. A lyophilic substance that offers protection to the lyophobic salt and prevents its precipitation by the addition of electrolyte is called protective colloid. For example, if we add a little of gelatin to gold salt, the coagulation of gold salt can be prevented to an extent. Gelatin is a lyophilic substance and this acts as a protective salt for the gold salt, which is lyophobic in nature. The actual mechanism for the protective action of the lyophilic salt is still under investigation. It is proposed that the lyophilic salt forms a protective layer as it gets adsorbed on the surface of lyophobic particles and thus protects the lyophobic colloid. And the strength of the protective colloid is expressed in terms of gold number. What is gold number? Gold number is defined as the number of milligrams of protective colloid which just prevents the coagulation of 10 ml of a standard gold salt by the addition of 1 ml of 10% sodium chloride solution. Here the lyophobic salt is gold salt and we are adding protective colloid, a lyophilic colloid to prevent the coagulation of gold salt. And by definition, gold number is the milligrams of protective colloid which prevents the coagulation of 10 ml of standard gold salt. And how the coagulation is caused? The coagulation of a lyophobic salt is caused by the addition of electrolytes. Here the electrolyte used is sodium chloride solution, 10% sodium chloride solution. So by the addition of 1 ml of 10% sodium chloride solution, the coagulation of 10 ml gold salt can happen. And if we add some quantity of protective colloid, the coagulation can be prevented. The milligrams of protective colloid which just prevents the coagulation of 10 ml standard gold salt by the addition of 1 ml of 10% sodium chloride solution is called the gold number. So smaller the gold number of a lyophilic colloid, the greater will be its protective action. Gelatin is a strong protective colloid so that its gold number is very less. It is in the range of 0.005 to 0.01. Albumin can also be used as a protective colloid, but its protective action is lower compared to that of gelatin. The coagulation of salt particles have certain applications in the field of industry. This property is made use in the production of rubber. Rubber latex is a colloidal solution of negatively charged rubber particles dispersed in water. The coagulation of the latex by using a suitable coagulating agent such as acetic acid or formic acid yields rubber. The property of electrophoresis is made use in industrial smoke precipitation and sewage disposal. The coagulation of colloids helps in the formation of river deltas. This is an example for coagulation observed in nature. River water is a colloidal solution of clay, and seawater contains a number of electrolytes. When these two water bodies meet, the electrolytes present in the seawater coagulate the colloidal solution of clay. This coagulation of soil results in the formation of river deltas.